Hello indie game fans, welcome back to I Dream of Indie. This is Ole Gamer Joe here with another review for you today as we look at Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons on the Nintendo Switch, a strategy RPG currently priced at $19.99, available as of December 17th of 2020. This game was developed by Ridian and published by Circle Entertainment. This is apparently the fifth in the Mercenary series, so shame on me for not knowing a lot about these games, but I would like to know more after I've played this one because this is a really enjoyable strategy RPG. However, that said, it does have quite the heavy-handed storyline. Now, we were asked to not go too deep into this story out of respect for not spoiling the game, which is fine, we generally try to do that anyways. That said, I will try to give you the main synopsis here. Our story takes place in the Kingdom of Euros, which has agreed to accept refugees in exchange for using them for labor in order to build the city and make it bigger and more vibrant. The folks that were already living in Euros aren't too keen on this idea as they realize more and more refugees are coming in, they fear that they are being pushed out, and this sets off a pretty big conflict between the two different sides. In hopes of easing tensions, the church then steps in and says, well, if you convert your religion to ours, then you can stay. Of course, as you might have guessed, not all of the immigrants are fans of this idea, and thus things get a little bit crazy with some of the refugees hiding amongst the city, setting off a giant war, and this is where the story really kicks in and you start to take control of things as you play as a group of mercenaries whose task is to round up the illegal immigrants as they are not listening to the new rules. You'll begin the game with a group of 4, including Lester, a highborn of a ruined family, Connie, who enjoys hitting enemies from a distance, Dalton, who is more of a clerical healer, and then Alva, who is more of the brash warrior type. I'm going to be honest with you here, obviously this storyline is going to rub certain people the wrong way, it's heavy subject matter. I don't particularly have a problem with that, I think it's relevant in a way that could be presented in a video game. My bigger problem with the story here is the fact that the writing just isn't very good. None of these characters feel very interesting, it's stilted and boring, and that's really a shame when you have such an interesting concept. It's honestly a little bit frustrating because the game does get its hooks in you narratively at the beginning, but quickly loses you once you realize the writing is so poor. Inevitably, this led to me not really caring about the characters or the overall conflict that's presented here, but that doesn't mean I didn't have a lot of fun with the gameplay, which is quite rock solid. Mercenaries Blaze does feature a grid-based system, which is presented from an isometric view. This will feel familiar to fans of Final Fantasy Tactics or older strategy RPGs, and each encounter begins by deploying your troops. Do know, though, that the first character that you deploy in this game becomes the leader, and that offers a few different benefits. You see, the selection of this leader does influence the party stats as a whole, but also the party members are able to use a special skill that is exclusive to that leader. Do know, though, that there is no going back whatsoever once you've selected that leader for a given battle. That's it, and you're stuck having them as said leader. Outside of that, though, things play out more or less as you would expect. As each character has a set amount of movement, you'll want to strategically move across the board, get behind enemies to the side of them to deal out more damage, and you can attack and defend. Obviously, each character comes from a certain type of class, and you can unlock more for each of these characters as you level up more and more. Getting to level 10 will allow you to unlock more classes, and 20, and so on. But if you're using the witch character, for example, you'll probably want to have them hang back and fling fireballs and other magical attacks from a distance. Obviously, swordsmen are going to have to get up close and to the side and deal out their damage that way, but you don't want to get surrounded in this game as that will get you killed pretty quickly. Some enemies, and well you too, can counterattack at given times, so it's up to you to decide if you want to strike from a distance, if you think you have enough to kill enemies. All of it's presented really well though, you get percentages of how much damage you're going to deal and whatnot, so it works quite effectively, but there are no real curveballs or surprises in this game. Upon completion of a battle, you'll be taken to the world map where you can then customize characters in quite a variety of different ways. You have skill points that you can use to upgrade their skills. You have equipment which can be purchased and equipped quite easily. There is an auto-equip feature as well. And of course you can choose the next mission, though there are some side objective missions that will pop up from time to time as well, keeping you quite busy, and because of the fact that there is eventually a branching path in this game, expect a ton of hours if you're looking for them here. Overall, I found that it was really obvious, to me anyways, that this is a developer that fully understands this genre of games. All of the systems are implemented well, the combat is a lot of fun, and it's easy enough for anyone to get into, whether you're a novice or not. There are 2 different difficulty options here too, I should mention. If you want to play on normal or easy, you get a little bit of an edge on easy that will help beginners. But overall, old school strategy RPG fans that aren't looking to get too in the weeds will be really happy with the systems presented here. I could say the same for the graphics, which are quite beautiful here. I enjoyed the pixelated look of the characters with the contrast between them and the 3D backgrounds. It works quite well, definitely reminiscent of the PlayStation era of strategy RPGs. I found it quite effective. I think that there's good detail to the portrait art as well, which is lush and vibrant. All of the menus look nice, and even though I wasn't a fan of the dialogue in the boxes, the dialogue boxes are quite well done. On the whole, I think that the graphical presentation really nails it out of the park in this one, and the soundtrack is quite hard-hitting as well, with some wonderful orchestrated pieces. They are sounding the war drums here, as you would probably expect. I enjoyed every piece of music that I came across, and while there is no voice acting, I didn't necessarily feel like I was missing it either. Sound effects get the job done, nothing exceptional, but on the whole, in terms of graphical presentation and sound design, I really quite enjoyed this one. Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons did let me down a bit in terms of its storytelling, and its overall narrative misses the mark, but I really did have a great time with each encounter. I looked forward to leveling up my characters, learning new skills, and getting on to the next battle, and even taking part in some of the free-based battles that are optional. Despite the fact that the game narratively did everything it could to pull me out of the universe, the gameplay, graphical look, and sound design of this game kept me fully invested. So what do you think, strategy RPG fans? Will you be checking out Mercenaries Blaze, Dawn of the Twin Dragons on the Nintendo Switch? Let us know in the comments section below. If you have enjoyed our video coverage and you're yet to do so, consider hitting that subscribe button below and the bell notification so you can keep up with everything we do here at the channel. Help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. We offer memberships and merchandise in the description box below. Thank you however you end up supporting us.